This is where our story begins. After the Survivor Series on SmackDown, it's revealed that Jade Cargill will be off television for the remainder of the year due to the injuries she suffered in the attack. While Jade Cargill is on the shelf, Bianca Belair and Naomi try to figure out who took Cargill out. They ask around the women's locker room and backstage to get information from the roster, but they come back with nothing. And with Cargill out for an extended period of time, the titles are vacated. I don't know, Piper Niven and Chelsea Green are champions. Great. For the time being, Bianca Belair goes back into the singles division, looking to win the newly announced United States Women's Champion from
Charlotte Flair!
No, Vince. It's Bayley. Bayley is the champion. So Bianca Belair chases after Bayley for her newly won title. Bianca Belair says that she will win the United States Championship in honor of her fallen tag team partner, and at the end of the year, she fights Bayley for the Women's US Championship. Bayley put on one hell of a fight against Bianca Belair, but Bianca is able to get her into the kiss of death and pin her for the 3 and become the new Women's US Champion. After this loss, Bayley wants to get a rematch for her title, and Nick Aldis will allow her to get that rematch, but only if she can beat Naomi on the final SmackDown of the year. If she can do that, then she can fight Bianca Belair in a rematch on the first SmackDown of the new year. Bayley goes on to fight Naomi and ends up winning after hitting the Rose Plant onto her, and now is going to be challenging for the Women's United States Championship on the first SmackDown of 2025. On the first episode of SmackDown 2025, it's a jam-packed episode after the massive success of Raw on Netflix, and in the middle of the show, we have a US Women's title match. Bianca Belair and Bayley duke it out for the championship. They have a great match between the two women, giving it all. However, Bayley ends up losing once again after eating a kiss of death from Bianca Belair, and Bianca retains her championship. After the match, a storm returns and Jade Cargill is back and tells the world that after being gone for a month, has the videotape showing who took her out and will reveal it next week on SmackDown. Bianca Belair has a quick interview about Jade's return, and she's glad that she's back and she wants to know who is the person that took her out. Listen, I'm just glad that Jade's back, and the 3 of us can go back to dominating this brand. I'm ready to confront who took out my friend, and we will get revenge. You can bet on that. On the next week of SmackDown, both Naomi and Bianca Belair come out together and are in the ring, ready to find out who took out Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill comes on backstage, and she has the videotape ready to show who took her out. Who took out Jade Cargill months prior. She puts it in, and this is the reveal. The masked woman takes off her hood, and it reveals to be Naomi. Naomi, friend to both Belair and Cargill, is the one that took out Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill is shocked by this and just is dumbfounded, can't believe it. Meanwhile, Bianca Belair turns around and looks at Naomi like, what? Why? Why did you why? And Naomi doesn't do anything else. She just leaves the ring, goes through the crowd, she looks at Bianca and leaves. Bianca Belair then runs to the back and goes to Cargill, who's enraged and heartbroken by this. Bianca tries to reassure Jade that we can figure this out and figure out why. Jade just storms off and leaves the arena while Bianca stares off at her. And the show goes to black. That's how SmackDown ends. The next week on SmackDown, Jade Cargill storms out to the ring and demands that Naomi comes out and reveals why she did what she did. However, it's revealed that ever since the last week's reveal, Naomi has gone completely ghost. No one knows where she is. She hasn't showed up to the Performance Center or SmackDown or live events or anything. She's just completely off the grid. Even Bianca Belair is having trouble trying to contact her. Both women don't know of any explanation as to why Naomi did this, and with the Royal Rumble coming up, maybe they'll see her there. Maybe there will be an answer at the Royal Rumble as to why Naomi did what she did. Bianca calls in to Nick Aldis trying to figure out, hey, you know where Naomi is? And Nick Aldis also responds with, well, she hasn't reported in at all. We don't know anything about her. She's just completely ghost, and we haven't seen her since. So, I'm sorry, there's just nothing we can do. You're just gonna have to wait until she comes back, if she does. The next day, it is the Royal Rumble, and it's time for the Women's Royal Rumble match to kick off the show. After the first 9 entrants are in the match, The ring is pretty full of women. Then, number 10, Jade Cargill enters the match at number 10, making her in-ring return. Comes down to the ring and just goes on a complete domination spree, dominating every woman in the match left and right, Jaded's all around, and she's throwing them out like corkboard. At least that's what JR used to say. After Jade Cargill is now left in the ring by herself, it is time for the next entry. The buzzer goes off. Naomi appears and ambushes Jade from behind. She hits the rear view, and when Jade gets back up, she clotheslines her out of the ring, eliminating Jade Cargill and also herself in the process. Before Jade can even get back at Naomi, she runs away by going through the crowd. Now Jade Cargill got screwed again by Naomi, the woman who took her out. Naomi didn't seem to care that much, only focusing on screwing Jade Cargill again, and she got what she wanted. Jade can't believe this, and all she can do is go to the back and just sadness. Going through Gorillas, she sees Bianca Belair ready to go out for the Royal Rumble, and Jade just walks by her like nothing and leaves the arena. Meanwhile, Bianca Belair goes out into the Royal Rumble, and despite Bianca Belair putting on another incredible performance, she ends up failing to win the Rumble match, getting eliminated by... She ends up failing to win the Royal Rumble, getting eliminated by being in like the top 3. So, I don't know who wins the match. I don't know, Rhea Ripley? Sure, let's go with that. And then we can get Liv versus Rhea for the 15th time. Isn't that exciting? After the Royal Rumble on SmackDown, Naomi comes out and is going to reveal why she attacked Jade Cargill and why she screwed her out of the Royal Rumble. Coming out with a brand new entrance and a brand new attitude, maybe to shed herself of her past. She says that Jade Cargill has been holding us back, and ever since she returned at the 2024 Royal Rumble, she hasn't done anything of note, and only gets booked when it involves Jade Cargill or Bianca Belair. Naomi believes she is one of the longest tenured performers in WWE, and doesn't get the opportunities to shine to be a champion, and she wanted to split. It's as simple as that. Sour grapes? Maybe. But I'm tired of being held down by someone like Jade Cargill, who hasn't done anything to earn anything in this company. And it's time for me to be put back in the spotlight while she goes to the backside. Jade Cargill storms down to the ring, runs down with Naomi in the ring, and the two finally duke it out for the first time, really. Jade Cargill takes down Naomi and is looking for the Jaded, but Naomi gets out of it, runs to the outside, grabs an object, and throws it right at Jade Cargill. This gives her an opportunity to escape, and she does. Naomi escapes through the crowd. Jade Cargill goes to the back and confronts Bianca Belair about this and asks her if she knows anything about why Naomi did this. Bianca, do you know anything about why Naomi would turn on us like this? Bianca responds with, no, I'm sorry, I don't understand why she turned on us. I literally do not understand. I thought we were best friends, we were riding high, and for her to do this, it befuddles me just like you. Jade Cargill wants to get this matter settled. So she calls Nick Aldis to get a match at Elimination Chamber with Naomi, and she's granted it, but with a twist. Nick Aldis wants to have a special guest referee for the match to make sure that this is a fair match that doesn't end in some sort of chicanery, and also is somewhat evil and wants to watch the world burn. And by that I mean wrestling, because he makes Bianca Belair the special guest referee of the match. Jade Cargill is shocked by this, but despite one of her friends stabbing her in the back, she believed that there's no way she could be backstabbed twice. It's going to be called right down the middle, and I'm going to be able to beat Naomi and end this. An interview is conducted with Bianca Belair about the match and the stipulation. Look, I'm not a fan of this. I don't really envision myself as a referee. But I want to settle this, and I consider both Jade and Naomi friends, so this upsets me just as much as Jade. If I need to be involved to make sure that these two can settle this, then that's what I'll do. I looked out for both of these girls for the past year, and I will make sure this is a clean match between them and let the best woman win. Bianca then is also asked about Naomi and her thoughts on what she did, and she says, I'm disappointed, to be honest. I understand that Naomi might feel held down by this, but I'm incredibly disappointed in her going to these lengths in order to change things. It's unnecessary and it's uncalled for. So I hope that Jade can beat her some sense into her. I don't want this to be the end of our friendship, but Jade needs to beat her ass and put some sense into her that this isn't cool, man. Now we're at the Elimination Chamber live in Canada. While this show is mainly known for John Cena's final Elimination Chamber, we get to the match and Bianca Belair reassures Jade Cargill that she's going to call it right down the middle and one woman will win fair and square. You do not have to worry about any bullcrap. I'm going to make sure this is called down the middle. Bianca Belair comes out first as the special guest referee. Then Naomi comes out with her new entrance, new attitude, and probably a new theme song that's probably Dog Crap by Def Rebel. And then Jade Cargill comes out with their spectacle of her entrance. With Bianca calling it right down the middle, Jade Cargill is able to dominate Naomi in the match and is ready to finish her off. Jade Cargill sets up Naomi for the Jaded and she nails it, and it looks to be over for Naomi. But then, Bianca Belair doesn't count the 3 and Jade is shocked. She's screaming at her, "What are you doing?" But then Bianca then hits Jade Cargill and a review from Naomi leads to a fast count from Bianca Belair. Naomi wins the match and Bianca Belair turns on her former tag team partner. Jade Cargill has now been backstabbed by both of her friends as Naomi and Bianca are celebrating in the ring. Absolutely disgusting and repulsive by Bianca Belair of all people. Bianca Belair doing this is just unbelievable. On the following SmackDown after Elimination Chamber, Bianca Belair is going to start off the show and explain her actions. Why did she betray Jade Cargill? Now you might be thinking, why Bianca, why? Well, it's not too complicated if you losers put it together. 3 years ago, I was the face of this division. Me. I main evented WrestleMania. I was the top girl in wrestling. Ever since 2024 though, I've been teaming with this newcomer, Jade Cargill, who is getting her feet wet, and I helped her get her start. I do not regret that at all. What I do regret is keeping this team together for so long. I mean, we've been together since what, WrestleMania 40? That's like 9 months, man. Come on. I shouldn't have bogged myself down by carrying Jade with me, and Naomi felt the same way. So I came up with a plan to take her out and rid myself of Jade and, well, you see the result. I am the second Women's United States Champion in history, and I did that after a month of breaking up with Cargill. Naomi did the deed, and I had to make it look like I wasn't the mastermind behind it. I mean, who'd expect me of all people to do something like this? So yeah, at the end of the day, I did this to reestablish myself as the EST of WWE. Jade now needs to sink or swim without me or Naomi carrying her to success. And to be honest, after teaming with her for 9 months, she doesn't have it. She's going to sink. Jade Cargill comes out and wants revenge on Naomi. She's looking her down at the ramp and is ready to kick her ass. However, before she can hit the ring, Naomi comes out and ambushes Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill gets thrown in the ring, and Cargill then gets laid out with a kiss of death, and Bianca and Naomi stand tall over Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill wants revenge, and in an interview with Bianca Belair once again, she won't challenge Jade Cargill at WrestleMania until she proves herself. Look, I don't need to challenge her. What do I have to prove? I'm the Women's United States Champion. She's nothing. She's complete and utter garbage. I don't need to prove myself to anyone. So if Jade wants to prove herself that she can fight me at WrestleMania, she needs to prove herself. So how about this? Go to Nick Aldis and work that out, you know? If she can go through a gauntlet of challengers then maybe I'll give her that shot. But she's not gonna get the shot just because I betrayed her. I dumped her ass. She's gonna have to earn it. Nick Aldis, the general manager of SmackDown, tells Jade Cargill, listen, I understand you want revenge. You want revenge on her. But she's right. You haven't earned your stripes at all as a singles performer. Before I can put her in the ring with you at WrestleMania, you need to prove yourself to not only me, but the fans. Going against Bianca Belair is a tough task. She's one of the top women's wrestlers in the world. If you want this, you're going to have to earn it. So for the next few weeks, Jade Cargill is put in a series of matches to prove her worth. Ends up going over some of the best in the women's division. Candice LeRae, Piper Niven, Blair Davenport. She's able to beat all these women and prove her worth to the fans. After these wins by Jade Cargill, Nick Aldis is impressed. Alright, you've earned your stripes here. I have no problem giving you the match with Bianca Belair. But before that, I think you do want a little bit of revenge. So I have a proposition for you. Next week on SmackDown, your final task is that you're going to be fighting Naomi. This match will be no rules, it'll be unsanctioned, and I want you two women to just tear each other to shreds. This will settle it once and for all. So the next week, Naomi versus Jade Cargill. They're going to settle their score and fight before WrestleMania. Jade Cargill goes on to pulverize and dominate Naomi, and after beating her to a bloody pulp, she drags her to the back and does what Naomi did to her months prior. She power bombs her onto the car and throws her through a window. With Naomi laid out on the floor, Jade looks into the camera and says, "That's gonna be you at WrestleMania, bitch." And the message has been sent to the US champion. On the final SmackDown before WrestleMania, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair are going to have a sit-down interview. However, they're going to be in separate areas due to the fact that they probably will tear each other to shreds, and they don't want that to happen before WrestleMania. So the two women are put in different sectors of the arena. They're here to give their final thoughts on the match before the show of shows. Damn, girl, I'm impressed. At first, I didn't think you'd actually get to me. You know, with carrying your ass since day one. But color me surprised, you actually did it. You beat some of the best women on the show, and even my friend Naomi got beaten down by you. But look, this is where your revenge fantasy ends, because at WrestleMania, I'm going to embarrass you, beat you, and retain my championship as the EST moves on to bigger fish to fry, while you wither away and you tumble down. You know, Bianca, I never thought you'd actually be the one to turn on me. I thought you were better than that. You put on a facade of being this strong, powerful woman who loves the fans and made people believe in you. To throw all of that away, all of that goodwill because you believe I was holding you down might have been a good thing, because it revealed your true self, a jealous bitch who, whenever they aren't on top, get envious of others doing well. It's going to be so satisfying to beat you at the grandest stage, so then you're going to have to recognize me as your equal. When I hold that championship in my hands above you, let it be known that you did this to yourself. After throwing yourself away for glory, you still end up losing to the person you look down on. WrestleMania 40, a storm arrived, and at WrestleMania 41, a storm will thrive. It's night 2 of WrestleMania. We're halfway through the show, and it's time for a big grudge feud. For the Women's US Championship, Bianca Belair, the champion, defends against her former tag team partner, Jade Cargill. With Jade Cargill looking to capture her first championship in WWE, where Bianca Belair wants to prove that Jade Cargill is all flash, no substance. Bianca Belair comes out strong at the beginning of the match, dominating, but Jade Cargill's resilience comes in, and she's able to anything that Bianca throws at her, even her own finishing moves, the Kiss of Death. In the end, Bianca Belair gets hit with a Jaded and gets pinned for the 3 from Jade Cargill. Jade Cargill wins her first ever championship in the WWE at the expense of her former friend and tag team partner. While Bianca Belair has to leave WrestleMania embarrassed and ashamed of herself. After turning on her friend and throwing away all the goodwill she built up over the years, she now has to reflect on this devastating loss. As for Jade Cargill, where does she go from here? Well, I don't know, Charlotte Flair? Will they actually pursue Charlotte Flair and Jade Cargill? Well, tune in next time and like and subscribe so you can watch that if it happens. Alright, take care, bye.